Okay, so we win the roll, we're on the play, and we're presented with a pretty clear keep. I mean, mana that works, pretty aggressive curve. Our lands even fit right in. We lead on the Valley Dasher, get the most out of the haste, get the most out of the creature. Specifically, like, if you put him down early, you can hopefully force a trade early and get him off the board before he starts getting outclassed by random guys. So instead, he just deals 4 damage, and I get to trigger the Skull Hunter. Yeah, Mind Rot's not doing much for our opponent here. So he plays a Morph. We're just going to shove with the team. Opponent obviously trades for the one that is not going to be forced into attacking to a larger guy later. And this is all just to set up Saddle Brute not doing 4 to us. Though to be fair, I think I would have casted this turn regardless if it cost 4 life. This game is extremely straightforward. I'm just attacking. There's no tricks that he can have for 2 that blows me out on the Saddle Brute. He's just going to make the trade, take 2 damage, play my 2 guys. We're still short cards in the graveyard for the Fiend, but if it ever happens, it'll be there. In this situation against the 4/4, we're just going to leap our guy over and shove, put him to 6, and put a counter on the Ancestor for later. Again, we're still a mana / card short for the Fiend. Then him not attacking, there's like some thought here as to what I would actually do here, because it's clear that he's representing some kind of trick or removal spell to beat our Saddle Brute. It's not Dragon Scale Boom because he would have attacked if he had that. But so it's like very obvious he has Awaken the Bear here. He's also one short of Become Immense. So if he had like done something else or whatever, or attacked, or well, he can't attack. But if he had done something else, I guess this guy would have sent himself in anyways because he'd be forced into weird blocks. So it's not worth discussing the lines because it depends too much on what he actually would have played. But long story short, if I don't draw Arrow Storm, I'm just going to outlast and 2 him and just sort of peck away with this and actually put him dead on board if he doesn't play a blocker. Because if he leaves up, I guess he could have Obzon Charm as his trick here. That would have killed our Saddle Brute. But it puts him to dead on board, and I'd assume that his trick is like Awaken the Bear, and it's the old strand your opponent with the spell that they can't cast, or that you don't give them the good opportunity to cast that good trick, like a neck snap or whatever, and force them to leave their mana up repeatedly. But because we drew Arrow Storm, I get to shove with Squad, even if he has a single removal spell. I get to deal damage. Oh, the other card he could have had is Feat of Resistance, but he ends up having Awaken the Bear. And he ends up going to -2 life. Game 2 is a little more interesting. It's again a pretty obvious keep, but he ends up playing the 0/5 on turn 2, which kind of stymies my beatdown plan. Fortunately, I draw a slightly better creature to play the next turn. I guess I'm trying to think if there's like any 1/3s for 3 that punish me for playing this over the Valley Dasher, but I just figured I'd rather save the Dasher as like a trick to mess up combat math on a later turn, rather than like play him now and just have him get eaten in 2 turns, dealing 0 damage and literally just triggering raid twice or something like that. So Bear Kit's play, and rather than try to Skull Hunter here, he has too many cards, and I think I'd rather save the Skull Hunter for a actual, like, if he's sandbagging a card when he gets to 5 or 6, I want to hit that 5 or 6 drop on this board. I don't just want to, like, throw it at him early and force him to make a decision into my aggressive curve to discard that high drop stabilizing spell because he's already stabilized. I'd rather just save that effect for later. So I land the Ponyback Brigade here. Also just not playing, like, 2 drops because they're not doing anything on this board. And I think that flipping ponies is a reasonable long game plan. He plays 2 creatures. I draw a white source. And a creature has to get in here because I'm going to Skull Hunter now that he's down to 2 cards. I felt like that was reasonable. Because again, this can put him into a bind of like land or big card pretty easily. But again, like if this could hit either of these 2 cards, I assume it wouldn't have been exciting. So I opt to send with the pony. because I think the flyer is more relevant than the 1/1 now that the board is even more clogged. Um, I don't have another mana, so I can't bluff that it's the 5/2, but it's almost better for me that he doesn't think it's the 5/2 and just takes the free roll block and doesn't trade. This also means that his morph's actually good and that he thinks this card's relevant, which I don't know if it is or isn't. But I had to play 2 spells, which is nice. Gain a life. Immediate no blocks with that morph. Because he's hit the relevant 5 mana mark to start actually flipping things like Bon Krumar or Sagu Archers that actually just wins every combat here. So at this point, this card is not getting anywhere against these guys. So I decided my best plan is to go on the 4-power flyer plan, especially because he has 1 spell left. It's reasonable to assume that it could be a removal spell, but I mean he just has like it's like exactly 1 card. I don't know. It seemed. I guess I'm not really getting anywhere this game if I do it anywhere else. So the question was really whether I could wait on it and potentially set this up later after baiting a removal spell, but didn't think it was worth it. So we for him, and he just passes. To me, this means that he either has a throttle or this is a Sagu Mauler. So my game plan is just going to be to pass. I almost attack and then I think about this line, and I'm just going to flip up ponies and just develop my board state while he is not. He opts to shoot me, which leaves me a little confused, because I feel like if he had a removal spell or a 5-mana morph, he'd want to do that and use his mana efficiently. So, like, I think there's like a part of me that thinks this could have been a bluff, but ponies away. So rather than actually have to think about why I would make any decisions like that, I just draw ride down. And I like this real easy. Squad just gets in there because they're just. If he blocks, let's see, he can block here. I would have to ride down this guy, I guess, instead of the morph. But like any other block, I'm just gonna ride down whatever blocks this. Basically, I guess I could just regen here and not really care too much. But I probably want to ride down the 1/5 if that's the thing that he wants. So he flips Sagu Archers like I thought, makes his blocks, thinks he's just going to force me to regenerate. The other thing, too, is that this attack without flying leaves me with the Snakeskin regeneration mana. As opposed to if I'm flying, I don't have 6 mana to fly up and regenerate. If I had drawn my 6th land here, I might have just done that as a test to see if it was an Archers. If I don't draw the ride down, that is. Because his play at end of turn not flipping it is just weird to me. So, ride down occurs. Get an extra damage in. I trade off all these random crappy guys. Play my second pony. And he's suddenly very dead and does not have a lot of resources going on. I don't either now, but at this point, this is the only card that matters. He has no removal spell. I draw the regenerate, so he can only draw a very specific subset of basically throttle to win. Or another flying blocker, I guess. But, I mean, he doesn't. I leap. The game ends.